Okay, we'll call the regular city council meeting to order at 6:32, September 16th, 2025. We have a quorum. We will be missing Amanda. She's at a function this evening for her job. And we will say the Pledge of Allegiance next. Okay, we will move on to the public hearing. Item number 3, Clear Lake Shores fiscal year 26 budget. I'll turn it over to our two-time award-winning CFO, Cheryl Hunter. National award-winning.
Okay. There are copies of the budget over there on the table, right there past the door, if you'd like, but I'm just going to run through a PowerPoint presentation. God, this thing's loud. And it basically just recaps the budget. Okay, so as you all know, this budget is the proposed budget for fiscal year 26. It covers the period of October 1st, 2025 through to September 30th, 2026. And in this budget, our fiscal 2026 goals were salary adjustments, to implement new financial software to incorporate payroll and court, complete the Shell Bottom Boat Ramp project, street and drainage improvement project along Narcissus Road, remove trees from the city's right-of-ways, replace the chief's vehicle, replace outdated computers that cannot run Windows 11, replace outdated tasers for the police department, and replace the floor at the clubhouse. And under all funds combined, we have total budgeted revenues of $4,710,251. That basically 55.88% of that is sales tax. Total budgeted expenditures are $6,161,455, and 42.51% of that is capital projects, which results in an overall deficit of $1,451,204, meaning that expenditures outpace revenues by that amount. 82.40% of that is due to streets and drainage projects in the Roads and Drainage Fund. And it's very hard to see that, but if you have a copy of the budget, it is it's in that budget. The recap is there. In the all funds combined for fund balance, we have a projected beginning fund balance at 10/1/25 of $10,401,164. If you reduce it by the deficit of $1,451,204, we'll have a projected ending fund balance September 30th, 2026 of $8,552,960. Remember, this is all funds combined. It's all 7 funds or 8 funds. In sales tax, the budget includes total budget for sales tax is $2,530,000. The general fund is allocated of $1,900,000. Roads and drainage $315,000. EDC $315,000. Among our top taxpayers are Home Depot, Target, Discount Tire, Specs, Chick-fil-A. Those are just to name a few. In debt service, we have Lee Property. We have number 9 out of 10 payments on this. It's scheduled to be paid off in fiscal 27. The total payment there is $94,957, with principal being $89,506 and interest at $5,451. We also have the McVaney property, which actually is a pass-through from the EDC. It's number 3 of 5 payments, a total of $50,000, 100% principal, no interest. For total debt service, it's $144,957, and you can see after fiscal 2028, we will be debt-free. In the general fund, we have, so now we're focusing just on the general fund. We have budgeted revenues of $2,866,451. Again, the sales tax makes up 66.28% of that. Budget expenditures of $3,120,358. Personnel services makes up 61.25% of that, resulting in a deficit of $253,907. The projected ending fund balance at September 30th, 2026 is $2,939,640, which will cover approximately 10 months of operating expenses. The key highlights in the general fund are the salary adjustments. We have 3%. We also have a new police department step plan, and the total of that costs $63,869. We'll have new financial permitting software at a total of $45,000. Computer replacement project, this is the one where the Windows 11 comes into play, and that's $60,000. Then we also have the flock camera system at $30,500, with $25,416 being funded by a grant through the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. And then I'm sorry, am I going to? Yes. So that's just the summary on the next page. You can next. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You got rainy day. Go back. I'm sorry. Yeah. There we go. Okay. In the rainy day fund, we have budgeted revenues of $92,000. There are no expenditures budgeted in this fund simply because it's our rainy day. So we'll have a surplus of $92,000. And so that projected ending fund balance at 9/30/2026 is projected to be $2,336,505, which will cover approximately 7 months of operating expenses. So projected at 9/30/2026, we will have 17 months of operating expenses covered if all goes as planned. Never does, but if it does. In the restricted fund, we have budgeted revenues of $37,800, budgeted expenditures of $115,000, the deficit of $77,200, projected ending fund balance of $269,474. Whenever you see these deficits, the deficits will be being funded through these fund balances, which is year-to-year savings of your cash. The key highlights in this fund will have the court software replacement that for $13,000. That's all coming out of the court technology fund, which is a restricted fund. It's from allocations that we receive off citations. And then we'll have the light and marquee at the clubhouse for $50,000. We also have the Leader in Me program contribution coming out of the Truancy Prevention Fund for $2,000. The light and marquee will come out of our Comcast PEG fund. There's the restricted fund summary. In the hotel tax fund, we have budget revenues of $21,000, and then budget expenditures of $65,000 with a deficit of $44,000. Projected ending fund balance at 9/30/2026 is $10,494. Key highlights here are the clubhouse floor replacement for $30,000, and wayfinding signage. It's collaboration with EDC for $30,000. Hotel tag. In the roads and drainage fund, we have budgeted revenues of $415,000. Budget expenditures of $1,610,847 with a deficit of $1,195,847. Projected ending fund balance 9/30/2026 is $2,536,000. Key highlights here is we have $342,774 set aside for Narcissus, $308,250 set aside for Clear Lake Road South, $347,24 for Forest, $344,988 for Oak, $25,000 for clearance of trees along the city's right-of-way, and $60,000 for drainage maintenance. That's just a very brief. That is not to go into detail on those roads. So if you have any questions, you can ask Tom over there. And then under the capital equipment replacement fund, we have budgeted revenues of $3,500, budget expenditures of $125,000, with a deficit of $121,500, with a projected ending fund balance of $136,243. Key highlights here: this is where we're going to replace the chief's vehicle for $75,000 and replace the tasers for $50,000. In Plaza 10, we have budgeted revenues of $51,500. Budgeted expenditures of $69,250 with a deficit of $17,750. Projected ending fund balance at 9/30/2026 is $127,402. Key highlights here: it's just a $50,000 placeholder because Plaza 10 we kind of projects as we need go through the fiscal year. We probably will not spend that, but it's just there in case we need it. And under EDC, we have budgeted revenues of $1,223,000. The state of Texas contribution of $850,000 makes up the most of that for the boat ramp project, and budgeted expenditures of $1,056,000, and the Shell Bottom Boat Ramp project makes up most of that for $903,000. They're projected to actually have a surplus of $167,000, leaving their projected ending fund balance at September 30th, 2026 at $728,167. Key highlights here are Shell Bottom Boat Ramp project for $903,000, the wayfinding signage for $30,000. Again, that's collaboration with Hotel Tax. Marketing initiatives for $25,000. Concert series for $12,500. Then we have the McVaney loan transfer to general fund for $50,000. And that wraps up. That's a very broad overview of the fiscal 2026 proposed budget. And any questions?
Sure.
Thomas Holland, 207 East Shore Drive.
Can't hear you, Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas Holland, 207 East Shore Drive. Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
How?
There we go.
Okay.
Put it in your mouth.
No
We can hear
thanks.
you.
No thanks. There's a lot of talk about deficit here, but there's no talk about beginning balances. So, like for roads and drainage, we have a $3.3 million in basically in funding right now, but you're showing us with a deficit, and that's compared to the next fiscal year's income compared to spending, I assume. But then you have EDC, which have $1.2 million in revenue. Where do we get that from?
Well, the $1.2 million in revenue from EDC comes from $850,000 for the state contribution and $315,000 for sales tax. So that's the 1.2. Roads and drainage does not have the $850,000. So therefore, you only have $415,000 in revenue.
Yeah, but okay, but most of that money that the EDC is doing, it's not really revenue. We're borrowing money from the city.
Well, it is accounted for. It's the way it's accounted for as revenue. It has to come in as revenue.
Okay, so we can't do it as a
Everything's measured in revenue and expenditures in terms of budgeting.
Yeah, I understand, but it still gives a skewed picture that we're coming out with a deficit in roads and drainage, and we still have a lot of money on the account.
Well, it's offset by the $903,000 in the expenditure side.
No.
So there's no gain to it at all.
Okay, it just sounds worse than it actually is.
Well, I guess that's a matter of opinion, but yeah.
Anybody else have any public comments for Cheryl about the budget? Anybody from council have any questions about the budget? Got to get up there. Mr. Dan.
DeAndrew Gina, 915 Hawthorne. I looked at, there's only $500.
We can barely hear you.
There's only $500 for mosquito control, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. The county does, so we don't pay for it? Okay. Okay.
Dan, Hubbard. Art, I'll tell you his last name. It's different. Any more questions about the budget? Okay. Do we have a motion about this budget?
I'll make a motion.
Hold on. I need to close the public hearing first. We will close the public hearing at 6:47. Okay? We'll get to that later.
And then under new business?
I skipped ahead.
Okay.
Yes. So now we will move to reports from council. How about Ed Waters?
I apologize for missing the previous council meeting, but I had eye surgery that morning. And if anybody ever has the opportunity to have the cataracts removed and multifocal lens implanted, don't miss it. I'm telling you what, colors are so different. They're bright, they're beautiful. People even look good sometimes, but it's all good. And I want to thank the chief and his department. We've had issues over at the Home Depot parking lot with people parking there sleeping, using the bathroom in the parking lot, and it's been a problem for more than a year. And finally, they were able to take care of that with the approval of Home Depot, signing off on it, and they went in and cleaned them up and moved them out. So we appreciate that immensely.
All right, thank you, Ed. Councilman Rick Fisher?
No report tonight.
No report. All right. Councilman Jeff Terrell?
Yeah, I have nothing to report this week.
Okay. We'll move on. Amanda's not here, so we'll move on to Susan Baker.
Just want to continue to encourage all of our residents to shop locally. We're going to spend a lot of time out at EDC now that we've got our new budget for the year, focused on improving business for our residents and for our businesses. So just remember, every time you shop locally, that comes back to the city, and that's that revenue line. So everything we can do to keep the money here in the city is very important. So I encourage you to do so this year. That's it.
Thank you very much, Susan. I'm not going to steal the thunder, but I'm going to say that Cheryl came up with something. Mike's got us on his report. I'm going to allow him to read that and take over from there. Mike has a lot of good information on his report. You guys don't need to hear it twice coming from me and him. So that's all I have for me. We'll turn it over to Chief David Donaldson.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to introduce one of our newest officers. It's Jacob Rodriguez. We stand up. Officer Rodriguez comes with us from Lake City Police Department, where he's worked 3 years of service there working in the jail. He's new, outstanding kid. He's moving right along pretty good, so he's probably got another at least 2.5 months of training. He's training with Sergeant Flores right now, so he's doing real well. All right? Jacob Rodriguez.
Welcome to the team, young man. I wouldn't have called you a kid, but I get that. Might look like a kid, but he's a young man, Davey. We'll move on to, hey, you don't have any other report for us? No business checks, none of that? Okay. Gotcha. Move on to City Administrator Mike Cram.
Thank you, Mayor. Roads and Drainage approved the purchase of a storm sewer camera system. We have received that, and Jay seems pretty excited about playing with that this week, so he and I are probably going to get out there on Thursday and start putting it through some of the systems that we have where we suspect there are blockages or separations, that kind of thing, in some of the storm sewers.
830 Dogwood, you come by there, it's all stopped up.
We've had good reports from the removal of the duckbill valves that were around. All of those were occluded, and we had a good hard rain the weekend after the final one was taken down. And in fact, I think it was Rick told me that he went out and walked, and the drainage was just completely different, how quickly everything drained. The one that drains the bulk of Narcissus was completely occluded where it goes to the bulkhead. So hopefully a lot of our drainage issues have already been addressed just by taking out those 6 valves. But we're going to continue to work to make sure we can correct whatever is left. The city secretary and the city attorney have collaborated to send letters to some of our STR registrants notifying them their permits are suspended until hotel occupancy tax payments are made and the tax reports are filed with the city. Those failing to comply will have permits revoked after 90 days. I think, Dick, would we send out about a half a dozen? The initial scope and cost estimate for the Narcissus Road paving and drainage project were larger and more expensive than what we had anticipated and requested from Colliers. Colliers representatives will be at the next Roads and Drainage meeting on next Thursday, right? And we will iron those differences out to make sure that's the project that we actually want moving forward. And we've categorized it more as a Chevrolet than a Cadillac. The Shell Bottom Boat Ramp and Parking Lot project have been advertised for bids. Last week those went out. We have received, this is the first time we've used CivCast, which is like an industry centered board, where a message board type thing where these things are posted. And immediately last week I began getting emails and phone calls and that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll get a good group of respondents to the bid process and have something to select from. City Hall will be closed Friday, October 10th. I'll mention this again at the meeting in October. One of the things you might remember from Cheryl's presentation on next year's budget is an expense for financial and court software. We have one that we've vetted already. I've called several of the cities that are comparable or a little bit larger than us around the state of Texas, and I've actually never had an overwhelmingly positive response about any software company until I called about this one, and they were unanimously supportive. And so that's a good sign for us. But they will be coming in Friday, October 10th to make a presentation to us and demonstrate all of the modules that we would be wanting to use before we move forward with it. So all the staff will be in there to ask questions and poke holes in whatever they're giving us. The fee schedule has to be approved by City Council each year. It is not on the agenda with the budget. We're still working on some of that, so we hope to have that done. We're going to have some meetings. Angie's on vacation this week, but next week she and I and some other folks are going to sit down and make sure that the fees are where they should be in relation to other cities and that they're relevant for what it costs us to handle whatever services those fees represent. And then finally, this is a little bit different. So if anybody in here has ever met a CPA, they're not known for being creative or fun-loving or any of that in general. Now, maybe that's not a fair evaluation of the whole group, but as a whole, they're not typically seen as, making people smile. Ours is sort of a zebra in a herd of horses. Cheryl came up with an idea to kind of get a team building thing going for us, and so what we will be doing is having a Halloween decoration contest for the balconies at City Hall and having the residents and visitors vote on it online. So we'll have 6 different balconies represented by either a different department or a different office, and so throughout the coming months those will be interesting to see develop and see how many people we can frighten or upset. So, but we're looking forward to it. Cheryl even came up with a set of rules for it, so expenditure limits and all that. So we think it's going to be a fun time. That's all I have, Mayor. Yes, I walked into my office. I made a mistake and took the day off Thursday because I wanted to play golf. Heaven forbid. So they left me a present when I got back Friday morning at about 7 o'clock in my office. Before I turned on the light, I saw a giant claw sticking out as I opened the door, and there was like a 5-foot rat on a 2-foot pedestal in the corner that screams and growls, and yeah, it was lovely.
Just so everybody knows, I'm balcony number 5. Remember, number 5. Thank you, Mike. We will move on to public comments. At this time, any person with city-related business may speak to the City Council if the topic of discussion is related to an item on the agenda. The comments may be made now or at the time the agenda item is discussed. If the topic of discussion is not related to an item on the agenda, the City Council cannot deliberate or take any action at this time. Comments from the public should be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and there will be no yielding of time. Would anyone like to address the City Council? Slow down, y'all are moving too quick. Yes, ma'am, please step up.
Hi, I'm Linda Sharkey, and at the Civic Club, they were trying to decide if we would be allowed to play mahjong in here. We've got like 17 people that are interested, and they said yes, and now we came here to see if there's a time that we're allowed to.
We aren't supposed to interact with you during the 3 minutes. Those are comments for you. If you want to see Mike,
Okay.
you're welcome to get with him.
Excuse me? Oh, it's a game. It's just tiles and it's very.
I think you should learn how to play it, David.
It's good for your brain.
All right, thank you. We have another one.
Hello, my name is Mike Pettit. I live at 818 Cedar Road. And just as an observation, so when I go down to Sundial Park to watch the sunset, there used to be 4 benches down there, and now we're down to 2. So I didn't know where the other 2 benches went, or whether you were aware that they were missing. I don't know whether they were nailed down or people, like steal those and take them home at night. But anyway, so 2 out of the 4 benches are gone, with 2 remaining.
All right. Mike, do you mind getting with Mike about that, please? Thank you. Anyone else like to address council? Yes, sir. That was Mike.
I have kind of Jeff Stewart, 415 Clear Lake Road.
Can you step up and say that one more time so she can hear you?
I don't know if I pushed
It's
it.
on.
There you are. Okay, my name is Jeff Stewart, 415 Clear Lake Road, and kind of a ditto to Linda's comment. I'm here to kind of represent the Tai Chi group, and also would like to see if we can have some time in here as well. We practice now, we've been practicing for about 3 years at the Pavilion, and it's like Saturday mornings or sometimes in the evening classes. Half the people are from the island, and then we have other people as well. Okay, that's all I need.
Same for you. If you don't mind getting with Mike, he can explain how that works to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're going to be a busy man come tomorrow, man. Would anyone else like to address city council? You don't have anything to say, Thomas? You're good? Mr. Jones, nothing from you tonight? Okay. Well, we'll close the public comments and we'll move on to the consent agenda, item number 6. Items A, B, and C. Do we have anything we want to pull from that consent agenda? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve consent agenda items A, B, and C.
Okay, got a motion from Rick.
I'll second that.
Got a second by Ed. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We will move on to item number 7, new business. Discussion and possible action may be taken on the following items. Item A, ordinance 2025-06, an ordinance making appropriations for the support for the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026, appropriating money to various funds of the city, adopting the annual budget for the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, authorizing the city administrator to take certain administrative actions regarding the budget. Mike Cran.
Unless council has any more questions about it, I would ask that you give consideration to moving to approve the budget as it's presented.
Okay. We have any motion on that item?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-2006 budget as it is presented.
Okay, got a motion by Ed,
I'll second.
got a second by Jeff. Is there any discussion on the budget?
Roll call vote. Roll call.
Roll call vote? Okay, we have a roll call vote. Ed Waters, 4. Jeff, Rick, all 4. And Susan, 4. And we're missing 1. Amanda is not present. Okay, so, you get that? All right. Forgive me, I'm trying to help Cheryl. She was nice enough to stand in and do much more than her job. Is there any discussion about the budget? Okay? We're good with that? Okay, motion passes 4 unanimous. Okay, we will move on to item B, ordinance 2025-07, an ordinance of the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, approving the 2026 ad valorem tax rate and levy of 0.00 per $100 of assessment valuation of all taxable property within the corporate city corporate limits of the city and providing a repealer. So, once again, we're proposing to have no tax from the citizens to the city. So I would say, do we have a motion on item B?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-07.
Okay, got a motion by Rick,
I'll second.
got a second by Jeff, that you? Okay. Any
Roll call vote again.
Okay, roll call vote on this. Ed? Ed's for. Rick is for. Jeff is for. And Susan is for. Okay, so motion passes on the ad valorem tax rate. Item C, consider and possibly act to approve the City of Clear Lake Shores to participate in a Purdue Pharma LP Sackler family settlement for alleged misconduct related to opioids, and authorize the mayor or city administrator to file all documents necessary to participate. So this is another lawsuit against some of the manufacturers of these opioids. We had participated this in the past, and we have actually received some funds from a lawsuit in the past. So I suggest that we participate again. It doesn't cost anything to participate, but we do have to vote on it. We do have to fill out the paperwork to participate, or you get nothing if there's anything awarded. So do we have a motion on item C?
I move to approve city to participate with Purdue Pharma in the settlement.
Okay, got a motion by Susan,
I'll second that.
got a second by Ed. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to item D. Consider and possibly act to appoint 2 members and 1 alternate to the Planning and Zoning Commission to serve a 2-year term to expire September 30th, 2027. Do we have a motion on that item? I noticed that there are 3 people coming off. We only have 1 application, and we're going to need a member and an alternate to be filled.
Yeah, well, I'll make a motion that we approve Laura Broussard for Planning and Zoning Commission with 1 member and 1 alternate to be filled at a later date.
Okay, got a motion by Rick,
I'll second.
got a second by Jeff. Got any discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to item E. Consider and possibly act to appoint 2 members to the Roads and Drainage Committee to serve a 2-year term to expire September 30th, 2027. Do we have any motions
I'll
for
make
that?
a motion, we reinstate Thomas Holland and Mike Panjoya to the Roads and Drainage Committee.
Okay, we have a motion by Jeff,
I'll second it.
got a second by Rick. Is there any discussion on those positions? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We're going to move down to item E, consider and possible act to appoint 2 members, item F, consider and possible act to appoint 4 members to the Parks Committee to serve 2-year term to expire September 30th, 2027. But before we do that, I just want to mention we kind of misrepresented that. I think Christie had changed everything when we took the pool away from the Parks Committee, and she put that out there as Parks and Pool. That was a mistake. That was just an error. Those duties are not for that committee. Those duties were removed from that. So this is just strictly for the Parks Committee. Do we have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we accept the applications for Mary Cooney, Shannon McGinney, and Cindy Sawyer.
And I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion by Ed, got a second by Jeff. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to item G. Consider and possibly act to appoint 3 members of the Zoning Board of Adjustments to serve 2-year term to expire September 30th. We have a motion on item G.
I'll make a motion, we accept the applications by Phil Head, Elaine Sokoloff, and Patrick Machowski.
Okay, got a motion by Jeff,
I'll second that.
got a second by Rick. Any discussion on those? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to item H. Consider and possibly act to appoint 3 members to the Waterfront Compliance Committee to serve a 2-year term to expire September 30th, 2027.
I make a motion that we accept the applications for Al Hamaker, Brian Salta, I can't,
Salty Brad?
yeah, and Brian Wallner.
Okay, we have a motion by Ed.
Second.
We got a second by Susan. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous, and that will conclude our meeting.